There are lots of photographs that exist in this world that give us an eerie feeling when we view them. Some of these photographs have an equally unsettling story surrounding them. I have compiled a list of 10 such images. This is Weird Wild Stories, and I discuss things that are strange, dark, and creepy. If you enjoy mysterious true crime stories and stories of all varieties of the macabre, then go ahead and subscribe or follow me. I have a lot of stories to binge and many more to come in the future. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it. 1. The imprisonment of Blanche Monnier. In 1901, French authorities received an eerie anonymous tip about a woman held captive in an aristocratic home in Poitiers. When they arrived, they searched the house and came upon a locked attic door. Behind it, in total darkness, they found a skeletal woman, barely clinging to life. She lay on a filthy straw mattress, surrounded by her own excrement and rotting food. Insects crawled across the floor. The stench was so overwhelming that officers could barely stand to investigate further. The woman was Blanche Monnier, weighing just 55 pounds, and she had been imprisoned in that room for 25 years. The most disturbing part? Her captor was her own mother. The possession of Anneliese Michel. In the late 1960s, Anneliese Michel seemed like a typical Catholic teenager living with her parents in Germany, until strange things began happening. She started blacking out, convulsing, hallucinating, eating spiders, and drinking her own urine. Michel was convinced that she was possessed by demons, and soon, her devout parents agreed. She underwent 67 exorcisms in the span of a year, yet her condition only worsened. Tragically, Anneliese Michel died of malnutrition in 1976 at just 23 years old, weighing a mere 68 pounds. Her terrifying story later inspired the 2005 horror film, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. The last photo of Regina K. Walters, Robert Ben Rhodes, known as the truck stop killer, is believed to have murdered over 50 women during the 1970s and 80s while driving his truck across America. His final and most chilling murder was that of 14-year-old Regina K. Walters. Before killing her, Rhodes forced her to pose for a series of photos in an abandoned barn in Illinois, capturing her in a state of absolute terror. These haunting images were discovered in his home, alongside a gruesome collection of other victims' photos, after he was arrested in 1990. Four. The mutated piglet of Chernobyl. The Chernobyl disaster in April 1986 is one of the worst nuclear catastrophes in human history. The explosion sent radioactive materials spewing into the air, affecting the surrounding areas for decades. While wildlife in the Chernobyl exclusion zone has begun to recover, the animals born immediately after the explosion were not as fortunate. One such example is a deformed piglet, preserved and displayed at the Ukrainian National Chernobyl Museum. The piglet was born with dipygus, a rare condition where its body forks at the pelvis, resulting in duplicate legs. Nearly 40 years later, this eerie specimen serves as a chilling reminder of the far-reaching effects of nuclear disasters. The nuclear shadows of Hiroshima. On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan, killing an estimated 80,000 people instantly. For some, their final moments were captured in the form of haunting nuclear shadows. When the bomb exploded, the intense heat of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit bleached the surfaces of buildings and streets. But in some spots, the outlines of people, those who unknowingly shielded the surfaces with their bodies, were permanently seared into the city, leaving nothing behind but their eerie silhouettes. Six. The Radium Girls. In the 1920s, hundreds of young women worked in American watch factories, painting luminous dials with radium-based paint. Unaware of the dangers, these women would often come home glowing in the dark due to prolonged exposure to the radioactive substance. The radium poisoning wreaked havoc on their bodies, causing their vertebrae to collapse, their jaws to swell and deteriorate, and leading to agonizing deaths from cancer. These women, known as the Radium Girls, endured unimaginable suffering, and their tragic fates highlighted the deadly cost of industrial negligence. Seven. The two-headed dog experiment. In 1959, Soviet scientist Vladimir Demikhov pushed the boundaries of medical science with his grotesque experiment, creating a two-headed dog. After 23 failed attempts, he finally managed to attach one dog's head onto another's body by sewing their circulatory systems together and connecting their spines with plastic strings. Both heads could see, hear, smell, and swallow independently, but despite the partial success, the crude procedure left the dog with only 4 days to live. Demikhov's experiment was a pioneering step toward head transplantation, but it remains one of the most controversial and ethically questionable experiments in history. John Lennon's final autograph. On December 8, 1980, John Lennon unknowingly signed an autograph for the man who would end his life just hours later. As he left his New York apartment, he stopped to sign a record for Mark David Chapman, who had waited outside for his idol. That evening, as Lennon returned home, Chapman emerged from the shadows and fired 4 shots into his back, killing the legendary musician. Reflecting on the earlier encounter, Chapman said, "He was very kind to me, very cordial." The chilling juxtaposition of Lennon's kindness with Chapman's murderous intent adds an eerie layer to this tragic event. Nine. The Rothschild Surrealist Ball. The 1972 Rothschild Surrealist Ball, hosted by Baroness Marie-Helene de Rothschild, was an unsettling affair. With bizarre masks, extravagant costumes, and surrealist decorations, the event has fueled decades of conspiracy theories about the Rothschild family's secretive power and influence. Guests like Salvador Dalí and Audrey Hepburn attended this opulent gathering, where the dessert was a life-size naked woman made entirely of sugar. Though conspiracy theories swirl around the Rothschilds, the disturbing imagery and lavishness of this surrealist ball continue to capture the public's dark fascination. 10. The Columbine Class Photo. On April 20th, 1999, America was rocked by the Columbine High School massacre, where Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold killed 12 classmates and a teacher before turning their guns on themselves. In the weeks that followed, investigators scoured for signs of the killer's intentions. One of the most chilling discoveries was a class photo taken just weeks before the shooting. At first glance, it seems like a normal school photo, but a closer inspection reveals Harris and Klebold in the top left corner, smirking and posing their hands like guns, pointing them ominously at the camera, a haunting forewarning of the tragedy to come.